again. Welcome to the Doctor Janine Show. I am so happy to have you all here today. We have some fantastic topics that we will be covering. Yes, we are continuing the conversation on these nasty guys, parasites, and some of the signs and symptoms that you could have some parasites lurking, maybe not just in your digestive tract, but anywhere in your body. We'll be talking about that. Please say hello and where you're from. We're also talking today about painful wrists and carpal tunnel syndrome. It's something that I've had so many questions about. And what do we do for this? We're going to go through that, and of course, how to address these things naturally. Hello and welcome on in. Please say hello and where you're from. Mons 1216. Good morning to you. Nice to have you here. Cozy boy, hello. Nice to have you here. And hey, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you are following so that you can tune in every single week and check out all my content as well. Now, we're also talking about berberine today versus some other fantastic herbal medicines which are great for balancing blood glucose levels and helping with weight loss. We're talking about puffy eyes, and I've got a great, fantastic new massage technique for puffiness under the eyes. So I will be showing you that as well when we go over to the beauty set. And we're talking about something else that, yeah, ladies, this is usually a problem for us. And it is that dreaded cellulite. So yes, I will be showing some of my techniques to help to address that cellulite, moving that lymphatic tissue and any congestion that you've got happening. So this isn't just for cellulite, but helping to move that lymph, which is so important for your immune system and keeping you nice and strong. Good morning, Raina, hello. Good morning. Big Lee in Modesto, California. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in today. And so great to have you all here. Zila in South Africa is tuning in. Donna in Texas, hello. Nice to see you. E. Marin in the Northern Coast. And Sophia, buenos dias. Hello, nice to see you. Good morning, Turbos in Florida. Great to have you here. Philip is here. Good morning in New Jersey. Great to have you all here. Ramona, hello in Colorado. And Siak, Jehovah is here in Maggie, New York. Great to have you here. Wow, everybody is in the house this morning. Great to have you all here. It's a great show coming up. Now, don't forget, it's very interactive, so you have to pay attention to some of the content that all the content that I'm talking about, because you never know what the quiz questions are going to be addressing. And of course, we're playing for a prize, so I'm going to get to that in just a second. So make sure you're tuned in, you're locked in, and it's so great to have you all here. Thank you for all the love that's coming in. I see all those likes, and sharing today's live is important as well. So please share with 5, 10, 15 people to get this show going and on the road. Okay, are we ready? Now, let's talk a little bit. Now, if you did miss last week's show, remember on long form video, you can still see the archive show. So if you missed last week, we talked about why you shouldn't be eating after dark, why you need vitamin C for your skin to build that collagen. So that was, and some of the signs and symptoms of having parasites, but of course we are continuing that list today. All right, so let's continue now and talk about that dreaded wrist pain. So if anybody has ever had carpal tunnel syndrome, this is something that can be super painful in the wrists. It can cause some squeezing of the median nerve. So let's take a look at the anatomy really quickly, because I want to explain this, because a lot of people, you may have not yet had a diagnosis of carpal tunnel, but this is so common. And that median nerve is now supplying that proper signaling to your thumb and your first few fingers, okay? So if you're getting numbness and tingling in these fingers and that index finger in the thumb as well, that can be because that median nerve is sort of getting squished and squeezed underneath what's called the transverse carpal ligament, which is in your wrist. Now, it can happen at any time. I'm going to go through some of the most common causes of that carpal tunnel, but more importantly, my tips as to what you can do about it naturally, because it can be, and it could just be wrist pain. Maybe when you're applying pressure on your wrist, if you do yoga and you're getting wrist pain, maybe your technique isn't 100%, but maybe you're putting some of that pressure. This can happen at nighttime when you're sleeping as well, that there's a sort of irregular sort of contraction kind of thing happening in your wrist, and this is also squeezing that median nerve. Okay, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you are following. It's great to see you here. Lynette, thank you for tuning in today. And okay, none of your business. You had the operation to have it corrected. Yeah, so that's what I want to prevent for a lot of you if you do have this going on. But at the same time, even if you have been operated on, there still could some pain and inflammation happening. So great to have you all here. Let's continue now with more signs and symptoms of parasites parasites will be coming up, but let's talk now about what we can do about carpal tunnel. Is that where we're going next? Yes. Okay, no, let's talk about the causes of carpal tunnel syndrome first. Okay, so what would be the first one? Repetitive strain. So if you've got one of these, you're at a desk and you've got that little mouse, right? So the positioning of your wrist, you could be putting a lot of strain on that median nerve. So that is one of, with repetitive strain syndrome, one of the big causative factors. The other thing is using, and depending on what type of phone you have, how you do your texting and your messaging on your cell phone, that can be problematic as well because you're putting that undue stress, especially in the thumb. This is very concerning, of course, for that median nerve, all right? So repetitive strain, as well as a lot of manual tasks. So depending on what type of job you have or what you do daily or sports that you're playing, like racket sports, maybe it's tennis, pickleball, depending on the hand that is being affected, that can also put that strain on the wrist and that median nerve, and with manual tasks as well. Now, another thing which you wouldn't necessarily realize is low thyroid function is actually related to carpal tunnel as well. And this could be related partially to the next one on my list, which we're going to talk about, which is number 4, mineral imbalances. So when you've got mineral imbalances, things like calcium, magnesium, iodine, key factors that are needed for proper thyroid health and your metabolism. This can actually affect your extremities as well and your nerve signaling, and that can be related to carpal tunnel. And of course, vitamin D deficiency. So this is interesting. So I looked at some research on this because in one study it was actually found, and we're going to take a look at this, that with a vitamin D deficiency, what was commonly found was that this was very much more prevalent in patients who had carpal tunnel syndrome, with linking that with a vitamin D deficiency, and that 95.8% compared with the controls at only 22.9% developing carpal tunnel with normal vitamin D levels. So what does that tell you? Of course, when I get to my tips now about carpal tunnel, it's something that we can definitely address to help with our carpal tunnel. Okay, so let's go on over here. Please say hello and where you're from. See you young. Nice to see you on a Tuesday. Great to have you here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all my new viewers who are here as well. And Nasir, and you've shared, Sherry, you've shared, Cowboy shared as well. Thank you for sharing today's live. User 367, I see you. And Kathy Marie has shared a few times. Thank you so much for sharing today's live. It's so great to have you all here. And don't forget, we have some quiz questions coming up so you can win a prize. So that is coming up in just a second. All right, let's go through my tips for carpal tunnel. You can screenshot this list once it's all up here. Okay, so doing specific yoga stretching. Now, this is something that I learned from yoga class. I want everybody to do this, so put your phones down or whatever you're watching right now. And just put it where you can see it, of course, but you're going to put your wrists together. Now, if you're experiencing any type of pain here, that could be an indication that you've got some inflammation happening there. Now, what I want you to do is to bend both hands over to one side, then both hands over to the other side, okay? And see if that is painful for you. This is a great exercise to help to stretch, but also to get some better mobility and strength in the wrist and all of those little muscles in the hands as well, okay? So I hope that is working for you. The other thing that you can do is put your wrists together upside down and just sort of press together towards your hands, and that's a nice stretch as well. Now, if it's super painful, of course, you're not going to do this, but something just to think about as a prevention as well for that carpal tunnel, okay? So that is amazing. So yoga stretching, fantastic. Number 2, you got to fix that underlying cause. So of course, if you've got carpal tunnel, maybe you've got overall inflammation in your body. That could be related to your leptin resistance, as we know. It could be that your thyroid is low. So if you didn't know that connection before, making sure that you're addressing your thyroid health. And that's something that I've talked about in a lot of my content. So if you're new here, make sure you check out all my content. Just put my name in the search bar on the platforms that you want to search it up on. Put Dr. Janine Bowring, thyroid, and then you're going to find all my tips for low thyroid. I've got tips for high thyroid, so hyperthyroidism as well. But that can be related with low thyroid to your carpal tunnel syndrome, okay? So you got to fix that leptin signaling as well. and the thyroid issue. Okay, number 3 is magnesium. Now, a specific type of magnesium, which is a muscle relaxant and really does help with your metabolism, helps to support your thyroid as well, is that magnesium bisglycinate. So that's something that I have a ton of different videos as well on different types of magnesium, which one is the best to take, what to avoid in your vitamins as well. So a good quality magnesium bisglycinate is really important, as well as whole food coral calcium. This is going to help with those electrolytes, helping to supply, of course, with that absorbable calcium. Now, the reason why I like the coral calcium, of course, is that it has a bunch of other trace minerals, so things like boron, rubidium, which really help with that proper absorption of that calcium and helps with that bone density as well. So if you're at all concerned, I know we're talking about carpal tunnel, but if you're at all concerned about maintaining, excuse me, your bone density, this is something that's so important, that you're getting enough of that coral calcium, which has all of those accessory minerals in it as well. All right, as well as vitamin D. So we just saw that study, if you're just tuning in right now, the study of the correlation between vitamin D deficiency and developing that carpal tunnel. So of course, getting more natural sunlight exposure whenever you can. That UVB is going to help for your skin to make that vitamin D and convert it in your liver and kidney health is also important for proper vitamin D absorption and conversion. Vitamin B12, really important because, again, for our nerves. So any type of nerve pain, we have to make sure that we've got enough of that B12, because B12 actually helps to protect the outer myelin coating of our nerves. So that's important as well. And you can do some taping at nighttime, so you can actually stabilize your wrist, because weird things can happen when you're sleeping, especially if you've got some of these mineral deficiencies, is that your wrist can kind of go in weird positions and you don't know because you're asleep, in sort of in compromising positions when you're sleeping. So you can actually tape your wrists, and you've seen me use for the beauty segments, which we will be doing a beauty segment. I'm not doing the face taping today, but that kinesiology tape, you can tape your wrist so that you're sort of stabilizing your wrist in this type of position so that you're not going to be sort of bending it in all weird ways when you're sleeping. So that can be really helpful as well, just to use that kin tape around your wrist to keep it straight. Okay, I hope that helps. I hope you got that list and you screenshot it. We can come back. Okay, we got it? Yes, everybody gives me a thumbs up that you got it. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Chi-Chi CBA, nice to see you. It's so great to have you here. You're wondering if natural hairspray recipe, I do not have that yet, but that is a great thing to add to my list, because I have some ideas on that. So great idea. And I've got some other beauty sort of recipes that I'm working on right now. So I'm definitely gonna let you in on all of the details of those things that, as I discover them myself, of course, always becoming more natural. That's what we talk about here at the Doctor Janine Show. So great to have so many new people here today. So thank you for all the follows. Please make sure, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe, that follow button, that you do that. And guess what time it is? Okay, it's quiz question number 1 time. Okay, so here's the deal. There's a quiz question that's going to come up on the screen behind me, and you've got 30 seconds to answer the question. Just put it in the comments, whatever you think that answer is going to be. You can guess. It doesn't matter. The first one's a true or false, so it's pretty easy, even if you're just tuning in now, if you missed the content. But usually the content is based on what I've talked about in today's show. And what we're playing for today is the Vita Detox from our great friends, of course, our sponsor, VitaTree Nutritionals, the sponsor of our show, whole food vitamins, fantastic, amazing, amazing. Thank you to VitaTree, and this is what you will be sent. So make sure you are following me, so that, and you're following also on some platforms, you have to follow Team Doctor Janine. Hey, that's my team. A shout out to my team behind the scenes. They help to answer questions throughout the live show as well, and make sure you're following them as well, so that if you are our winner, that we can actually reach you and get your address so we can send you the prize, okay? And I will be announcing last week's winner in just a second. Are we ready? Quiz question number 1. I think this one is pretty straightforward. It's a true or false. Playing for the Vita Detox. Here we go. True or false? Vitamin D deficiency can be related to carpal tunnel syndrome. You've got 30 seconds up on the clock. Get your answers in now. Good luck, everyone. All righty, everybody getting your answers in. I see a lot of good answers. Okay, this is great. Fantastic. Awesome, awesome. One more second. Okay, everybody got your answers in. And all right, make sure you are subscribed or following before we reveal. Yep, gave you enough time. Okay, here we go. Yes, of course, the answer is true. Vitamin D, and we saw the study there, vitamin D is very much correlated to carpal tunnel syndrome when you have a deficiency of vitamin D, okay? So get out there into that natural sunlight. Some people do need to supplement, though, with a good quality D3 supplement. All right, now, I do want to call out our winner. So our winner from last week was Lulu Shami. Congratulations, Lulu. Love your name. That's amazing. Good job. You are the winner of the organic vitamin C, of course, from our sponsors, Vitatree. So congratulations. Amazing. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't win again. So I hope, Lulu, that you're here. If you are, give us a shout out and say hello. My team, if we see you, make sure you let me know that Lulu is here and in the house, but you can win again. We've had actually multiple winners because it's a random selector. Lulu is here. Hello. Yes. Congratulations. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And you can win again. So make sure you keep participating in all the quizzes. We have some more quiz questions coming up. That wasn't just the only one. Okay. So everybody stick around. All right. We're going to talk about cellulite now and 5 tips to get rid of that dreaded cellulite. So, you know, in youthfulness, here we go. Let's see if I can do both of this. Okay, here we go. So when we're young, we have nice, smooth backs of the legs and tummies and backs of the arms. Everything is smooth because we have proper circulation. That's one of the big factors. And we're not as sedentary maybe when we're younger. But what happens over time, and this is for women because typically it's women who, and our connective tissue is very different from a man's connective tissue, and it holds down. And there's anchors between those outpouchings, so that puffiness that can happen when we have that extra fluid accumulation, we've got some extra fat, of course our hormones affect this, if we have toxicity issues, that can all affect, of course, the production of that cellulite, and that's why we get that dimpling effect. But there are some natural things, and this is what I'm going to talk about now, to help to flush this away. And let's go through some of those things. Now, I will be talking about berberine. I've had so many questions about berberine, and helping to balance blood glucose levels versus different herbal medicines that I actually prefer, so that will be coming up. But let's go through my 5 tips for cellulite, okay? I know, ladies, that you're dying to hear if you haven't heard me talk about this before. Big topic, especially this time of year, of course, because the hotter temperatures, summertime, everybody's getting out, and, you know, less clothing is on the body. Here we go. We can see more of that cellulite if you care. Some people don't care, but some people do. Okay, so full body detox. What does that mean? You've heard me talk maybe about full body detoxing, why this is important to get those toxins out of the internal organs. So not just focusing in, a lot of detoxes and cleanses just focus in on one organ system like the liver. I like doing a full body detox that addresses lung toxicity as well as, you know, gut toxicity and liver and lymph and blood toxicity, detoxing all of those organs at once. And hey, if you want more information like this, make sure you hit that subscribe, that you're following button, and that you're sharing today's live. I like doing that full body detox, and it's protocols that we've talked about in, you know, other videos as well. So you can search that up on my channels. Really important to get those toxins out of the internal system. Okay, and there's herbal medicine specifically that you can use to help to get rid of those toxins. Okay, number 2 for cellulite is lymphatic massage. So how do we do this? Well, there is full body massage, but there's also other devices which I'm going to talk about that can help to really move that lymphatics. And doing a full body lymphatic drainage sort of technique, I do have a video on this, so you can search this up, where you're actually manually now getting that lymph going in different areas of the body. And there's different points on the body that I go through. I think there's 10 different points on the body that you need to get all of your full body lymphatics moving. Okay, so check out that video. It's something that we can maybe review next week too. I think a lot of people would like to see that actually. So we'll make a note that we're going to go through the 10-step lymphatic drainage massage, full body lymphatic drainage, really important. Okay, number 3, of course, is exercise. Exercise helps to move the lymph, helps with the detox process, so this is important. So some form of movement every day is going to be really, really important for you for that cellulite. As well as using the roller massage. So there's different, you know, little devices out there that you can purchase online, and this one is fantastic. It is quite painful, and then, of course, you can roll this up and down very easily, the backs of your legs, the fronts of your legs, helping to decrease those adhesions in, of course, that connective connective tissue. So remember, as women, our connective tissue is pulling down, and that's why we have that sort of dimpling effect, because the connective tissue, those adhesions are there. Now, the good news is I've got, and I will be talking about something else that actually helps to decrease those adhesions, and that's coming up in just a second, okay? So this is important with that roller massage, is that you're effectively rolling out and manualing, actually decreasing those adhesions, which is amazing. You can really see a marked difference in the appearance of that cellulite when you just get things moving and decreasing, you know, some of that pulling down action of your connective tissue, ladies, okay? And number 5, this is my favorite one. Herbal medicines that are known to help with veins and your circulation, but also have been proven in some research to actually help with cellulite. So one of the herbal medicines that I love is called Gotu Kola, and Gotu Kola is amazing because in one study it actually found to decrease the overall appearance of cellulite, helping to shrink fat cells and actually decreasing that pulling down of that connective tissue in terms of that anchoring down and that puffiness appearance. That Gotu Kola actually helped in that study to lessen that and actually shrinking fat cells. So it was amazing for that cellulite, helps with your venous health as well. So herbal medicines are always so great, and they don't have negative side effects like a lot of medications do, and that's why I love herbal medicines. Okay, now we're going to talk about some foods that you can eat to help to reduce that cellulite, and doing it now, yes. So certain foods that you can start to incorporate into your diet, which really do help from an estrogenic standpoint to help to decrease estrogen, because high estrogen in your body is related to having more cellulite. And if you've got estrogen dominance, and this can happen in guys as well, to have estrogen dominance, now you're not necessarily going to get cellulite because your connective tissue is different, but for the ladies, this can be concerning in terms of the appearance of that cellulite. It could be an indication that you've got some estrogen dominance, okay? Now we will be going back to the beauty set. I just want to say that to deal with puffiness around the eyes, I've got a great new massage technique. So that is coming up. Don't go anywhere. We also have some more quiz questions coming up. Okay, now what do we do with this cellulite? Well, there's a group of vegetables. They're called indole 3-carbanols. So what's in this group? So you can see here, cauliflower is in this group. It's your cruciferous veggies, as well as Brussels sprouts, kale, spinach, they're all in this group. And that indole 3-carbinol actually converts over into DIM. Now, DIM is known to decrease an enzyme called aromatase. So what naturally can happen is that testosterone in the body, in both men and women, can convert to estrogen, and it needs that enzyme. So what we want to do is we want to sort of block or inhibit that enzyme that's causing that conversion over to estrogen, so that we don't have too much estrogen, which is causing the cellulite, okay? So by eating those veggies, remember, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale, spinach, really does help with minimizing that aromatase enzyme, helping with that cellulite, okay? So I hope you remember that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, we are going to talk about quiz question number 2 right now. I hope you're paying attention. All right, are we ready? Quiz question number 2. So this is what we are playing for. It is the Vita Detox from our great sponsors at Vitatree Nutritionals. We thank them for sponsoring the show. Again, is everybody ready? Okay, you're gonna have 30 seconds on the clock if you're just tuning in right now. And this is all about, sorry? Okay, so this is what we are talking about. So thank you so much for everybody who's tuning in. All right, and it's great to have you here. Prem Singh, E. Marin, Bahich is here. Nice to have you here. Thank you. Bahich is looking for the spelling of something, so maybe we can help him out. And thank you and a lot of questions coming in. So don't forget on Wednesday, so tomorrow at 1 p.m. I will be addressing a lot of your questions because I can't always get to them during the show. Belly is here. Izzy, hi Izzy and Liz. There you go. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so let's go with quiz question number 2. Is everybody ready? All right, here we go. Name a herbal medicine that can help with cellulite. Let's see who is paying attention. I only mentioned the one, so here we go. But you may know others. Oh, Panda May is here. Good morning. Nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in. All right, 15 seconds left. All right, 7 seconds. I hope everybody got their answer in. Oh, wow. Okay, good try on. Some of you Colleen got the spelling correct. Rebecca as well. Baking Mom of 3, hello, good morning. Nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Raina, yes, I like that answer. It's not the one that I spoke about. However, it may be helpful. All right, everybody got your answers in? Okay, awesome. Okay, so the one that I talked about, make sure you are subscribed, that you are following, is, of course, Gotu Kola. Now, some others that I didn't mention, butcher's broom, horse chestnut as well, have been known to help with your venous health, so helping with your veins, but also for your circulation, and helps with cellulite as well. There is some research that can sometimes be hard to find now, so, but yeah, helps with cellulite. All right, so let's go over here. I want to call out my viewer spotlight. So this is from Vicky. Thank you so much, Vicky. And you said thank you so much for great information. You are a viewer spotlight that was chosen for this week's show. Thank you so much and congratulations to Vicky. You guys are the best, I have to tell you. All of my viewers, my followers, really, really solid, great, and hopefully healthy people that follow me. And I'm so happy about that. So thank you to all of you. Okay, now let's continue. So actually this came up in some of the answers. Raina said berberine. Let's talk about berberine. May be helpful for cellulite. I'm not so sure. I haven't seen any data on that, but really great for balancing blood glucose levels. And there are some other herbal medicines that I actually prefer over berberine, even though berberine was like all the rage in the last couple of years. But this is something that we can definitely address, and I'm going to go through some of my favorite herbal medicines for balancing blood sugar, helping with leptin resistance as well, if you've seen my content on that. And of course, we will be talking about some of these nasties. So coming up in a few moments, we're talking about, some more signs and symptoms that you've got these nasty parasites. Oops, and they're all upside down. Parasites and maybe candida in your system, and more importantly, what do we do about that? It might be something that we'll review tomorrow in terms of my parasite cleansing protocols. Okay, so berberine. So what is berberine? Well, it is a compound that's derived from different herbal medicines, and it can be coming from, and here you see some capsules, so it is a bright yellow color. Often it comes from golden seal, which is Hydrastis canadensis. It can also come from Berberis aquifolium, which is Oregon grape. And it can also come from Berberis vulgaris, which is barberry. Okay, so these beautiful herbal medicines can provide that actual berberine. And it's actually an isoquinoline alkaloid is the main component of this. And that has different properties in terms of how it can help. And one of the big attributes of berberine is that it helps to balance and lower blood glucose levels. And here's one study which is really interesting. I think we're going over here actually. And this was on the safety and efficacy for, of course, that bearberry and the berberis. And this is one form of the berberine. And they were looking at diabetic patients, and they found that they had definitely at 480 milligrams, which was sort of considered a low dose in their opinion, showed in just 12 weeks that it helped to reduce blood glucose in type 2 diabetic patients equally to metformin, which is a drug, of course, that they use for diabetics to balance blood glucose levels. So isn't that interesting that there's some data that shows now that berberine can be very effective? Now, one of the drawbacks of berberine is that it can cause, at different dosages, some stomach upset. It can cause, nausea, vomiting. So people can be sensitive to berberine. It's not one of the things that I typically used in my practice, seeing my patients over the years. There are herbal medicines that I actually prefer, and I'm going to go through my list right now. I just like the evidence and the safety profiles of these herbal medicines much better than the berberine. It doesn't mean that berberine isn't great, but maybe not great for everyone, okay? So this is why I wanted to really share, in my experience and what I've used with my patients over the years are these herbal medicines, all right? And we do have our last quiz question coming up. So if you missed our previous quiz questions, we do play for prizes here at the Doctor Janine Show. So we're gonna be playing for the Vita Detox that will be coming up, so make sure you're staying tuned. All right, and we're going to the beauty set as well, don't forget, and we're gonna talk about puffy eyes. All right, so let's talk a little bit about some of my favorite herbs that actually help to balance blood glucose. And these are four of my favorite. muscadine grape skin, African wild mango seed, Gymnema sylvester, and white mulberry. So just take a quick screenshot of these herbal medicines, and it is part of, something that I actually take to balance blood sugar levels. Works very well, works very quickly, has some of those effects of, those big injectables that are all the rage right now, the GLP-1 agonists. So if you've heard about, how those mechanisms work, helps with satiety, helps to make you feel full, but also we know that these herbal medicines, there's some evidence that shows that it helps to actually balance your leptin levels as well. And you know that I talk a lot about balancing leptin resistance. Where's Mr. Fat? Mr. Fat hasn't made an appearance today? Okay, one second. Let me grab Mr. Fat, of course. So if you're having difficulty, of course, losing that weight, fixing that leptin resistance is super important. And that's why I love this protocol. And taking these herbal medicines in combination really helps with addressing the leptin, but also, of course, helping with balancing the blood sugar. So if you have insulin resistance and you have, that belly fat, and you're trying to burn that away, that is the herbal medicine combo that I really do prefer. All right, so I do want to say thank you to, again, all of my great followers, all of my Planet X. Thank you for all the love. I see all those hearts coming in. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I have the best fans, and my super fans who are so generous throughout the week, throughout the lives. You donate to the channel as well, which I couldn't be here without all of your support and your love, and of course the fact that you're following and that you share and you like and you do all these things. So please hit that share button. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you, and especially my super fans. Thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting my channel and to continue to come back every week and learn more and more. You're doing something good for your own health, which is amazing. Now, let's talk about those nasty parasites, right? Shall we? All right, so this is something that I talk a lot about when I'm on television. And when I used to first go on TV and show all these ugly pictures of these, it's like a puzzle right now. There we go. Of all these nasty bugs. Yeah, even the crew. So you can imagine I'm looking and I've got like a few cameramen and there's the stager and all these people on the set when I'm on television. Yes, I have the same sort of setup here, a little bit less personnel, but at the same time, a lot of people, a lot of eyeballs on me and the cameras as well. And I would go like this and the cameramen would kind of go like, ugh, what is that? Don't be squeamish. It's all in the name of science. And of course, getting healthier and doing it naturally. That's what we talk about here at the Doctor Janine Show. But here we go. We're going to talk about signs and symptoms that you could have these parasites. And this is more signs and symptoms because if you missed last week, issues that can be related, of course, to those parasites. All right, so let's continue now with the signs and symptoms of having those parasites. So, number one is a lot of gas and bloating. So, of course, if you've got a lot of digestive complaints, gas and bloating, you may wake up with a nice flat tummy, but as the day goes on, you're getting more and more bloated. That can be related, of course, to those parasites. Number two, irregular poops. So you don't have, maybe you've got IBS types of symptoms with your poop. So maybe you've got, this happens once in a while. So the gold standard, the S-shaped dark sinker is a great thing. But maybe some days you are very constipated and you've got your poops are kind of looking like this, which I call the meatball poop, or of course the rabbit pellet poop. Other days you could have the pencil poops, and that could be a sign of severe constipation as well. And then you've got this sort of squeaking through in terms of a looser, maybe a floating stool, maybe it's a lighter colored stool. That can all be related back to those parasites as well, okay? So irregular poops, so you're not always having sort of the gold standard, either your S-shaped dark sinker or a nice, healthy log like this. If that's not always happening, that can be a sign of those parasites. All right, let's continue the list. What else can these parasites be causing? Skin rashes. So when you've got parasites, either they're directly on the skin or in your bloodstream, again, can cause things like eczema, psoriasis, because you've got internal parasites, okay? So this is something that you definitely want to make sure that you are optimizing your parasite cleansing protocols, which is something I talk a lot about here in my content. And if you're new to my content, please make sure that you subscribe, that you are definitely following as well. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing today's live. Thank you to everybody who's here today. All right, we're talking parasites. What else can we do? How do we know that we've got signs and symptoms of these parasites? Number 4 on my list, of course, is autoimmune disorders. So if you have, whether it's a thyroid, if you've got a thyroid disorder, maybe that could be related back to parasites, especially if it's Hashimoto's thyroiditis, if it's Graves' disease, that can be related back to your microbiome, and the fact that maybe it started with parasites. And those parasites caused you to have some leaky gut syndrome, and then in the effect of that is that your immune system started to react to this, and now you've got an autoimmune condition that's attacking your thyroid. Okay, so just food for thought, not food for you, no, food for thought. This is something that, yeah, and unfortunately the food that we eat becomes food for our parasites. That was a joke. I hope you got that joke. Anyways, all right, and number 5, of course, sensitivity. Isn't this interesting? So of all my parasites and my nasty critters here, this is very common with Candida, that if you are sensitive to perfume smells, sensitive to car exhaust smells, and it just irritates you and it gives you a headache or you feel unwell, that's a big sign of having Candida, okay? So I want you to pay attention to that, and you definitely need to consider doing a parasite cleanse, a Candida cleanse, which of course I have my favorite protocols for that. So make sure, if you're not aware of my protocols yet, that you tune in tomorrow when we do our Q&A at 1 p.m. But these parasites, I know they are nasty, but these are some of the things that your body, and your doctor isn't necessarily addressing these. So I just want to say that, because your doctor, often you have to be your own best doctor, your own best advocate for your health. Often your doctor is not seeing the connections between these things and what's going on with the parasites in your system, and maybe that Candida as well, and they could be in your bloodstream as well. Okay, we will be going into the beauty set in just a second. All right, I'm going to share a new exercise for puffiness around the eyes. So that's coming up, but I did want to share all of that about the parasites. Okay, I hope that you screenshotted that list, and let's go on over here to the beauty set. All right, now, and we still have a quiz question coming up too, right? Yes, we still do, so make sure you're ready for that. Okay, so what you're going to do, and here what we're working on. I hope we got the picture of the lymphatics. Did we get it? All right, so yes, okay, awesome. So I want you to notice the fact, and remember, next week I'm going to be doing the full 10-point full body lymphatic drainage routine. So make sure you tune in next week, okay, for the show. And of course, the show is every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know there's a lot of new people here today, so thank you for tuning in today. And that's what we're going to be doing. So Tuesdays at 11, so next Tuesday at 11, you're going to tune in, and we're going to go through all of the full body lymphatics. But in terms of puffy eyes, this can actually be related to what's going on actually on top and below your collarbones, so your clavicles. There, of course, is lymph here that needs to be drained, but we're going to go through that whole technique. But if you notice around the eyes, so look at how much lymphatics you have in and around the eyes, underneath the eyes. And if you're not draining this properly, then there can be a problem in terms of what's happening with that puffiness, and you've got that extra fluid buildup. All right, so what you're going to do is hold your finger. So I'm holding, just so that you can understand, if you want to put your phones down or whatever you're watching on your screen so you can see me, but you're going to hold your opposite finger. So this is my left index finger on the right side of just beside my nose, because remember, there's some lymphatics here. There's actually a major acupuncture point here as well. So we're just holding that tissue down, and now we're going to roll up towards the eye. Okay, so you're just doing little motions up towards the eye where you may have some puffiness, and depending on how thick your fingers are, you may need to adjust and bring this finger down just to stabilize, so that you can do a few rolls up towards your eye. Then you're going to roll out towards the outer corner of your eye like this. And this is actually helping to drain some fluid out this way and draining that lymphatic. And then you're just going to use your fingers like this and just sort of press down lightly. And that can really dramatically help to remove that puffiness. Now on the other side, you're going to use your opposite hand. So in this case, my right finger on the left side of my nose, and then I'm using my left finger up, little rolling, and I just adjusted my finger because I want to have enough. So you're moving up. So see how I'm pressing down and moving up, up, up like this. And now you're going to go out, 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 and I usually do it 3 times in each direction, and then you're just holding like a V, like this, you're just pressing down. And for whatever reason, that helps to drain that lymphatic, helps to open up and brighten up the eyes, which is amazing, helping to move that lymph and helping to depuff those puffy eyes. I hope that helps. And I hope that you are loving today's live and you're having as much fun as I am. We've talked about poop. We've talked about parasites and those nasty things today. We talked about carpal tunnel syndrome today. If you're just tuning in, we also, we did talk about the poop platter. And guess what time it is? It is quiz question number 3 time. Is everybody ready? All right. So we're playing for a prize. This is from our great sponsors at VitaTree. This is the Vita Detox. Is everybody ready for quiz question number 3? Here we go. True or false? Sensitivity to perfume smells can be a symptom of candida. All right, you got 30 seconds on the clock. Everybody get your answers in now. So remember the candida and other parasites. This is actually a fungal form. Can be a symptom of candida. Is everybody ready? Yep, get your answers in. You just take a guess at it, even if you're just tuning in now for the first time. Yes, and more questions are coming in, so please tune in tomorrow because, 5 seconds. I'll get to that in just a second. 4, 3, everybody got your answers in? I think you did. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, make sure you are subscribed, you're following. So many new people here today. Thank you to all of my new subscribers and followers, and thank you for sharing today's live as well. That was amazing. All right, of course, the answer is true. Yes, so sensitivity, if you are sensitive to those perfume smells, it could be a candida issue. More importantly, we will review tomorrow because I know a lot of questions are coming in about how to deal with these things. We will go through my protocol tomorrow as to the herbal medicines and what you can do for the full body detox as well, because I know that we talked about that today and I couldn't really get into the tips today, so we'll go through that tomorrow during tomorrow's live. So tomorrow's live is at a different time. It's at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I hope that you can tune in tomorrow, even if it's just to say hello, and we'll go through, of course, those Q&A, those questions that you may have if I wasn't able to address your question today. Now, next week, we'll also be talking about and continuing that conversation on leptin resistance. We'll talk about that full body detox as well, and we'll talk about some of the side effects of man-made light. So screen time light and what that's doing to not just our eyes, but to our entire metabolism. And we'll go through that protocol for the full body lymphatic drainage. It was so great to have you all here today. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. If I wasn't able to shout you out today, thank you so much for tuning in. There's so many people who come on to the lives and I can't address everyone, but I love you all. Thank you. You guys are the best. Continue to watch all of my content. Make sure you're following, that you're subscribed, and I'll see you tomorrow for the live Q&A. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you then.